Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I bought some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we
buying
have this,
as much as I can.
slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now.
Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. Getting validation on social media from the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying from the morning show, yeah, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart. Okay. When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and imagine, think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when you know, 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, you know, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So, again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I bought some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we
buying
have this,
as much as I can.
slide up. So
all the way to
Again, we
550.
designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target, 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Daily, weekly, now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Let me start with Tesla. Tesla, this is one where we're not closing out, all right, the trade card. First of all, our target was 270 to 300, hasn't reached that yet. Second of all, I mean, are you kidding me? Elon Musk is somehow going to be paid back for what is done for Trump, all right? That's obvious. Everybody knows that. And beyond that, we called the bottom in Tesla. Like the trade card, we nailed that one, and we're like, this is the long-term inflection point for Tesla. It's the last of the big mega caps that now has to catch up. And I'm looking for all-time highs in Tesla. I think this is where you hold Tesla, just like we've been holding Bitcoin since a few months ago for new all-time highs. I think Tesla, the new all-time highs are going to come. I'm not saying the next couple months, but in the next 2 to 3 years at least. This is heading over $414 in my view. So that's Tesla. This is one where I like it, meaning I think the gains will hold, and you can look for opportunities to buy the dip. I think the dips are going to be bought in Tesla. As far as levels, I don't know. Let's see. You got this pre-market at 278, double bottom. You see that? Maybe that's a spot if you want to try to day trade 278. But I have a fairly good size position in my long-term account that I'm just going to hold. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with Tesla. Am I going to pick up some day trade? Something or other. By the way, Tesla calls, I mentioned it in the Discord like 5 times yesterday because I thought it was a great way to play on a Trump victory. Let me just say, Tesla is not over. Not over at all. I updated the price target in our 4-pillar channel in our Discord, gave you guys a new price target. We had 270 to 299. We upgraded that price target to 300 to 315. Where is it? There's a 300. I got to go to weekly candles. 300 to 315. Okay. 300 right there to 315 right there. That's the more near-term targets. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes by Monday. Who knows? Might even come today or tomorrow. 300 to 315. Amazon, okay, Elon, I mean, Jeff Bezos has been selling everything he could at $200. We got some call options overnight, $200 strike for this week. And my thinking was on a Trump victory, we can break 200 because, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the show yesterday or in our Discord. I think it was on the show. Jeff Bezos did something it took some guts. He went against everybody in his organization to prevent the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris. Okay, that happened last week. And there was like a mutiny at the Washington Post, and people were really pissed at him. So he took a stand, and I'm sure Donald Trump took note of that. The question is that the market take note of that enough to say Amazon's a Trump stock, just like Tesla will benefit because of his support for Trump. Will Amazon benefit because of what Jeff Bezos did for Trump in the past week? That was the thesis for why we got some Amazon calls yesterday. And it's really underperforming today, up 0.45%. If we look at the QQQ and SPY, up 2%. Look, I got to throw Amazon in the top 5. I got to say, now we have all the ingredients finally. We don't know. It's a black hole. We don't know for sure how many shares is Jeff Bezos selling at 200. So it's definitely risky to do this. But if there's ever going to be a day where there's enough buy volume to overcome a big seller, I would say maybe today's that day. So let's throw Amazon in the top 5 for a break of 200 in a second. But it's not just about the supply. It's also about the demand. So even if you want to imagine whatever the max quantity is that you think Jeff Bezos is selling out there, if there's any day where the demand can overtake the supply, today's a good day to do that. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. And has already sold many shares. It's not like he just started. He's been selling for a long time. So I would guess is closer to the end than the beginning. But again, it's a black hole what the supply is, but also today the demand is going to be crazy. Let's take out that $200 Jeff Bezos wall today. Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I got some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we
buying
have
as much as I can.
slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target, 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I got some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at
A
550.
few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we have
buying
this,
as much as I can.
slide up.
Pretty
So
close. All the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. You see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now.
Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. Getting validation on social media from the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying in the morning show, yeah, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God, right. Okay, well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart, okay? When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So, again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I bought some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we have
buying
this,
as much as I can.
slide up.
Pretty
So
close. All the way to
again, we
550.
designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. You see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. ASTS is something we started picking up yesterday. I'm going to make this a top pick. Don't know yet if it's going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see. But ASTS, when you have this is just a whole bunch of pillars coming together. What's a pillar? It's story trading. We have catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals, right? We have a lot of things converging on ASTS today specifically, which I think makes this a good one. This sell-off here was because of the Trump win, because people thinking, all right, that benefits Starlink, and that's not going to be good for the competitor ASTS. Now that we're getting this correction in the Trump names, now the names that were hurt because of the Trump trades can come back. All right. So that's like money flow sentiment kind of reversing with earnings Thursday afternoon. We talked about the fundamentals. I believe it wasn't on the public show. It was in our Discord yesterday. So I'm looking for continuation after this open green candle yesterday. RSI still oversold here on the daily. So let's see. There's I don't know how far we can get today, but I think before the earnings report, there's a chance we get to like 27, maybe even up to 29. Before Thursday afternoon. That's in the cards. ASTS, definitely a top pick today with this kind of Trump trade reversal, a little bit of reversion to the mean going to be happening today, it looks like. I ended up swinging in the entire call position I got in multiple accounts. You see we're up here, up 6%. Sometimes you got to know when to swing something on one of our top picks. So I did swing. We got ASTS still, I think even with a gap here of 7%, I'm still looking for a move to 27 to 29 before earnings tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I got some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way to 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm buying as much as I can.
Slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. Tesla. We were spot on with Tesla 2 days in a row. I'm going to go, man. I'm going to say 3 days in a row. Today's the day we break 300. I feel like this can be what Amazon was for us the other day, where we said the 200 wall is going to go on Amazon. And then if we break 200, we rapidly go to at least 205. By the way, why was that the case? Because we knew Jeff Bezos was selling there at 200 for a long time. So once you take him out, there's no more supply left, right? That's why it would jump very fast after that. Okay, Tesla's a little bit different story. We don't know if a strong seller at 300, but it's a big psychological level on the chart. Okay, and it's a big also, not just psychological, technical level too. It's right here, 299.29. All right, you break two, and look at that. That's so beautiful. It used to be resistance back here too, around 300. Okay, so you break 300. Where's the next resistance? Right here at around 313, 315. All right, we gave this to you a couple days ago. It's playing out exactly so far as we said. Why not? Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm means you got it wrong the first 2 times. Nope. Trend is your friend, I guess. Story trading's on fire. So I think we can break 300 today and maybe quickly make a move towards 313. Maybe today, maybe to Monday. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but that's going to be in the cards.
Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. From the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying in the morning show, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God, right. Okay, well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart, okay? When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Daily, weekly. Now you can see what I'm talking about there. So it's been a while, but the fact that that whole sector was exploding before this move tells me there's a lot more to come in Bitcoin. The big whales know something about the money flow, and that money flow is going to be coming in Bitcoin. So I think finally, we're going to break out above this 66,525 here, and then make a move to the all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that is definitely in play. It's hard to say for today because you're buying this gap up. But as far as a swing position, I think if you're not in it, you're light in it. I think it's a good time to increase the position in Bitcoin. Something real seems to be happening there. Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I bought some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way at 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we have
buying
this,
as much as I can.
slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Amazon, okay, Elon, I mean, Jeff Bezos has been selling everything he could at $200. We got some call options overnight, $200 strike for this week. And my thinking was on a Trump victory, we can break 200 because, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show yesterday or on our Discord. I think it was on the show. Jeff Bezos did something it took some guts. He went against everybody in his organization to prevent the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris. Okay, that happened last week. And there was like a mutiny at the Washington Post. And people were really pissed at him. So he took a stand. And I'm sure Donald Trump took note of that. The question is that the market take note of that enough to say Amazon's a Trump stock. Just like Tesla will benefit because of his support for Trump, will Amazon benefit because of what Jeff Bezos did for Trump in the past week. That was the thesis for why we got some Amazon calls yesterday. And it's really underperforming today, up 0.45%. If we look at the QQQ and SPY, up 2%. Look, I got to throw Amazon in the top 5. I got to say, now we have all the ingredients finally. We don't know. It's a black hole. We don't know for sure how many shares is Jeff Bezos selling at 200. So it's definitely risky to do this. But if there's ever going to be a day where there's enough buy volume to overcome a big seller, I would say maybe today's that day. So let's throw Amazon in the top 5 for a break of 200 in a second. But it's not just about the supply. It's also about the demand. So even if you want to imagine whatever the max quantity is that you think Jeff Bezos is selling out there, if there's any day where the demand can overtake the supply, today's a good day to do that. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. And has already sold many shares. It's not like he just started. He's been selling for a long time. So I would guess it's closer to the end than the beginning. But again, it's a black hole what the supply is, but also today the demand is going to be crazy. Let's take out that $200 Jeff Bezos wall today. Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I bought some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way to 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm buying as much as I can.
Slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now.
Guys, listen, I'm getting validation on social media. Getting validation on social media from the likes of Dan Ives, Jim Cramer, who is not a good indicator, but when you have Dan Ives and Jim Cramer agreeing, basically saying everything I was saying in the morning show, yeah, we're talking about $926 billion company. Dan Ives is like, this is a $1.5 billion company. Automation is going to be fast-tracked in terms of federal regulations and stuff. Take a look at this. I'm looking at, let's pull back to the weekly chart. If you go to the daily, you're like, oh, it's so scary. You got a gap here. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, you can look, first of all, even on the daily, we're so close to that 299. It's going to test it soon. And then right after that, this is the magnet right there at 314.67. So your target's 300 to 314, 300 to 315, let's call it. But if you don't want to be scared of the gap, pull up a weekly chart. Okay. When you put up a weekly chart, just look at this and think about how important this catalyst is. This is an inflection catalyst. This means this is a catalyst when 5 years from now, you look back at the stock and you look at the chart, you can identify a point in time, right? How important is it that Trump is elected and Elon Musk is at his side and basically put him in office, right? How important is that to the company? Obviously, it's hugely important. How big should that candle be? How big should that inflection be when you look back in this chart in time from the future, right? And when you look at the weekly chart, hey, we haven't even gotten started. This 15% move is nothing. It's a blip. You haven't even missed it yet. So when can we see this like really peak out? Or I don't want to say peak out, but when is this thing going to capitulate to the upside, at least temporarily? Guess when that's going to be? I think it's pretty clear. January 20th. There's going to be a lot of hype building into that. Most of the run's probably going to happen well before that. November, December. Maybe you see this thing have that capitulation high, towards Inauguration Day, right after Inauguration. Everything's going to be baked in by then. So, again, look at these weekly candles. How big should these weekly candles be to represent this monumental thing that's really going to impact fundamentals for Tesla? I mean, look, this 299 to 315, that's like very short term. That could be tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow or Friday or Monday, might very well be tomorrow, 300 to 315. If you want to talk about a game-changing inflection for the company, you got to think this thing has got to be maybe somewhere between 380 and the all-time high by Inauguration Day, all right? Or at least 360 to 415 by Inauguration Day. That's my target. This is the opportunity. That's the analysis.
Okay, so you have an additional tailwind in RCAT as a defense stock, plus this event after the close. Yesterday, on that anticipation, we hit 562. I think this is a really good bet. I got some in pre-market, some trading shares on top of my core shares, because I'm anticipating a move even beyond this 510 ask here right now. All right.
Hitchcock can take it away.
I'll just leave this up for a few seconds.
I took it all the way to 550.
A few quick notes on the web while
I'm
we have
buying
this,
as much as I can.
slide up. So
all the way to 550.
again, we designed this in less than 5 months, and we delivered.
Look at this technical breakout. Do you see how beautiful this is, right? It's a little bit hard to see.
No, I see it. It's gorgeous right there. Look at that.
Okay, that's your target. 775. Okay, we're at 555, 559 now. Look at the macro. It looks like we are now in correction mode here. Look at QQQ. You got to worry about, well, did we get to this gap fill up here? Let's see where that is. 506.41. We're below that level. So now you got to worry about this level right here, which by the time it gets there, maybe it might coincide with 20 DMA. SPY looks very similar. So SPY and QQQ basically mirroring each other with those levels to look at. And IWM, below this level right here, very important, 232, could make it back to that 227 breakout or so, 228 breakout or so. Good morning, everyone. Wow. Sorry I'm late today. Crazy morning for the community, for myself, for us. Last minute, we scheduled this CEO interview with a CEO of RCAT. Okay, so that's going to be coming up at 10 a.m. And then I just had a heck of a time getting in the office. There's some construction around here. So sorry I'm late about that. Hold on one second. And I also don't have my colleague here, Rhett, today. He was unable to make it. So the show might not be as smooth as usual. Okay. Here we go. Quick macro look, and then we'll get into the individual stocks. And let me just check something else over here. All right. Okay, so macro, you can see ARC down 0.8%. Bitcoin, we gave you the warning on this Sunday morning when it got rejected at 100,000. We said 93,500 is next, and if it breaks 93,500, which it did, I gave the alert out. 90,000 is next, or right around that 20 DMA. It's like a double resistance. You had that 90,000 candle resistance, which became support, also a psychological level, also the 20 DMA. So we had a really accurate call Sunday morning about this move to 93.5 and then 90. So we may look at getting it back into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin plays around 90,000. Now, I'm a little bit worried about a possible correction. Let's see, IWM down a little bit, SPY QQQ stable. I did a little bit of research last night on Trump tariffs. And every time Trump tariff was mentioned back in his first term, was announced, when the Trump tariffs were announced back in his first term, you did see the markets go down for about 3 to 4 days, pretty significantly, like something like an average 5% move. Now, maybe this one's going to be a little bit different because he clearly laid out the reasoning for this tariff and the fact he doesn't really want to put the tariff on. He wants them to take action at the border, Canada and Mexico specifically, and then there's a fentanyl from China, I think, but he wants Canada and Mexico to take action at the border before Inauguration Day. That's his goal here. So maybe the market understands that, and they think that there's going to be a good chance that hopefully that doesn't happen. So, I don't know. I think the risk is there. I think it's maybe a good idea after a lot of hot air we've seen in the market, especially in a lot of these sectors like these, the quantum stuff. Look at these. So I was actually thinking maybe it's time to short some of these quantum names. Now they're down 17, 23, 15%. Maybe the EV toll names like ACHR, Joby need a break after yesterday. So I'm starting to think about ideas to the short side. But however, this morning, there were so many good long ideas, and we're already killing it in the community that, I don't know. Look at this first. Here are the ERs. I wasn't familiar with SMTC. Someone gave it to us in our community last night. It's about an inline move. They beat guidance by 18%, up 20%. I'm not going to do anything with that. ANF gave this dip to our community here. I got in at like 146.50, I believe it was, predicting a red to green reversal this morning. It was a beat and raise. It was a clean quarter. We gave that alert to our community. ANF, I have it in the long-term account. Also, we're looking for a beat this morning, and it happened. So what an awesome reversal. I should have kept it longer. I was just going for green. Got in at like 146.50, sold up here at like 154 or so, and now it's up at 161. But that was one of the best earnings reports of the morning. Dix only beat modestly. I wouldn't chase it here, up 6%. Dell earnings today after the close. Zoom, there might be an opportunity here. I think there's an overreaction on this. I think it may just be a gap fill happening here. Let's see, the gap's at 86. It went all the way to 20 DMA, but things got ahead of itself. And this is why you saw ANF dip as well this morning, because you have all these gaps in here. So people are like, let's sell the news. And that's why you had the opportunity in ANF. I think the same opportunity might exist in Zoom, although not as exciting as a company when it comes to growth, but they are basically beating every quarter, mostly not because of top line growth, but bottom line improvement on their margins, increased buyback. So Zoom could be an opportunity here at down 5%, just like ANF was here. So already off to a great start this morning in our Discord community with that call on ANF. And there were other really good calls we're going to talk about too. VKTX, another one. We gave this to you this morning when the stock was up 2% with a target of 55 to 60. Man, I had a lot of call options on this yesterday that I sold. I have the stock long-term in my long-term account, but man, if I kept those call options overnight. In any case, we jumped in the common shares at like $52 or so, 52, 53 right here early in the morning. Sold some at 55.50. Half of it, I still think I have the other half. I don't remember for sure, but VKTX, that was a top pick for it today. Here we go. ANF and VKTX, two call outs today already doing really, really well. Rivian, I didn't jump on Rivian. They had the news of it's like a $5 billion loan. And I kind of, I may have misplayed Intel, but both of these have, billions of dollars from the government being awarded this morning. Intel, 7.9 billion. Rivian was about, here, is that 6.6 billion. The Rivian one's a loan, and Intel one's a grant. So I'm like, I like Intel better. I guess I just misplayed it a little bit this morning when I saw it go red in pre-market. I'm like, I'm out, but maybe this still has legs for today. Nice look to that chart. Bounced off the 20 DMA. 26.43 may be your target on Intel. Also, Qualcomm said they're not interested in buying Intel anymore, so it was a little bit difficult. When I saw it go red, I bailed on it, but I might get back into Intel here with that $7 billion. Was it $7 billion? $7.9 billion grant on Intel, looking good. Let's just look at the technicals on Rivian in case you like that here. 100 DMA this morning at $12. So I wasn't sure how it would interact at $12. It's now $12.43. Maybe it makes a move up there to that candle 13, but I think I have better ideas for you guys this morning. Another big winner, ZENA, up 75%. Another one where I gave the Discord some great advice, but no, I didn't hold on to it overnight. But Discord, $7 last night. Gave you guys a target of $11 this morning. I saw at least one person take advantage of that overnight, made good money. So congrats on ZENA. As far as I know, this is not a long term. That was just a quick low float penny stock on some positive drone news. And, I can't wait to talk about the drone stocks. RCAT is really responsible for this ZENA move. In fact, look, we made a drone list up here now. RCAT, ZENA, UMAC, which we've been trading like crazy, really, really well since the RCAT news. Made a lot of money on RCAT yesterday. on UMAC yesterday. All right. Look at all these other drone names, a whole ecosystem of stocks running secondarily to RCAT, that big SSR win, $400 million Army contract. So stay tuned, 10 a.m. right here. CEO of RCAT. One second. CEO of RCAT. I know it's Jeff, but yeah, I thought it was Jeff Thompson. Just making sure I got his name right. Jeff Thompson. All right. So Jeff Thompson, CEO of RCAT. We're going to be on straight through. All right. We're going to be on straight through till 10 a.m. Hold on. Let me just get this. 1 second. I got to take care of something in our Discord really quick. Back in the studio. Okay. All right. I'm gonna need some company at 9:30 a.m. because we're gonna be staying live the whole way through. All right, we'll see if our top trader Yosef joins us or our analyst, the Godfather, joins us at 9:30 to keep me company until the interview at 10 a.m. All right. So going back to our top list here, ANF already nailed that. Again, should have held it for more. It was a clean beat and raise. VKTX. So let's look at this. I gave you a $55 to $60 target. We'll see. I might. I'm still in it. I might reload on a dip with the half that I sold at $55.50. So that's in play today. Intel. Again might re-enter that. OpFi, Godfather stock, again, another great pre-market. Wow, we are up like 600% on some call options. $7.50 call options we got for December. We are up big on that. Jake, if you're in the studio, that studio link is just for Yosef and the Godfather if he joins us. All right. In any case, let's see what else we got going on here. Oh my gosh. All right. We do have another stock that I can't really talk about yet. All right. With you guys, it's only for a Discord. That a new 4-pillar pick idea, really strong thesis I'm excited about. So that one, you got to join our Discord. It's somewhere on this list, but can't talk about it live right now until we give everyone in our community, in our Discord, a chance to get into that stock. All right. So there's that as well. All right. So let's review this and see if we're missing anything and try to come up with the top 5. And I'm doing a lot of multitasking here. The interview is taking place right here, guys. Right here. You can send the link 10 a.m. Eastern time. So let's change that banner over here. So 10 a.m. EST. All right. You can take this link, the X link or the YouTube link, whatever you're on, and you can share that on, tag RCAT on Twitter, on StockTwits, Reddit, wherever. Yeah. There's RCAT community people. All right. We'll be talking not only about RCAT at 10 a.m. Okay. But I'm going to ask him about UMAC. Jeff Thompson, I'm going to ask him about PDYN. I'm going to ask him about OPTT because they have some sort of relationship with all 3 of those companies. So we're going to learn more about the nature of those relationships coming up at 10 a.m. Okay, so ANF, VKTX, Intel. I think I'm going to step back into Intel. I got shaken out on that quick move to the red. All right, RCAT today. Could that be in play? It's been a top 5 pick this whole time since the news, every single day, right? So we had a closed green candle yesterday. Could that be the sign of a temporary top? Maybe. All right. With a RSI that's overbought over here. Okay. So we'll have to see about that. Definitely going to be on our watch list in case Jeff Thompson gives us any news. All right. Please pump the stock higher, Jeff. Well, look, I don't know if you need to do that. We're not here to pump RCAT because it's up a lot already. And at this point, most of our exposure in our Discord community, I think most people who are in RCAT, they're in this for the long term. We've been in RCAT since $2, folks. It's been a major winner, a major wealth creator. We've been RCAT since July, and there is some trading around the core. We've all, but we've made good money on this. I don't think we need another pump. But if Jeff Thompson comes out and gives us some material news, some hints of something that's come, it could pop again today. All right, so. That's why we will have RCAT on our radar because who knows, he might make news and there's enough people watching here that he could, if he wanted, to release material and news here and then file with the SEC later. If he reveals something, he could do that. We got close to 3,000 people watching this live right now. Okay, so let's see. Wow, UMAC 679 by 695. That's crazy. You know what? UMAC, yesterday I was saying UMAC looks like, you know what UMAC looked like? It looked like QMCO was the parallel. It looked like QMCO as far as market cap, shares outstanding, as far as the reason it's moving, a sentiment move in a particular sector. There's a quantum names. And this stock, look what they did to it. From down here at 5 to 27, now it's 16. UMAC could potentially do that. And I don't have a position in UMAC now, so I'm not serving my best interest right now in saying this. But yesterday, we were all over UMAC. We made a ton of money on it. I did exit at the end of the day, wishing I kept some. But UMAC is up here in the top of the list because it could have that squeeze at all-time highs, low float. Wow, this thing can go crazy today. All right. Yesterday, we were saying maybe we can get into the $7 to $8 range. We got to $6.50. Looks like we're just off by day 7 to 8. Looks like it may be coming today. Again, I have no position yet. If we get a pullback, maybe I'll step into UMAC and look at ZENA keep on going. And, this ZENA up 84%. is giving probably a sentiment tailwind to stocks like UMAC as well. All right, let me go down here and see if there's anything else of significance. I got to make sure to talk about some penny stocks here. OPTT, we'll bring this up as well. Okay, and we're going to bring up PDYN because we're going to be asking Jeff Thompson about all three of these companies. So let's move this up over as well. Where's my PDYN? PDYN. Where'd it go, guys? It disappeared on me. There it is. So PDYN. Gonna move this up. PDYN. We're gonna move it all the way up here. So we got RCAT. All right. This is the main drone stock that's causing all this craziness in now UMAC. Look at that. Look at that volume. Oh my gosh. I wonder, like, let me see if I got lucky. I don't think I did. I before the show started, I put a bid in at like 851 or something. I doubt it went through. Look at this, 891 by $9 now. Crazy. Let's see if that went through. I don't think it did. Look at the chart here. So what am I looking at right now? What is this? We spiked to 1033. I missed that. When was that? Okay. Whoa, what? Am I looking at the right stock? This doesn't look right. Okay, that's better. UMAC is right here. Okay, I was looking at the wrong stock. Okay, so, oh, I got filled at $6.55. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Whoa, it's only 1,000 shares, but that's fun. I got filled at $6.55. Nice, beautiful. Haha, I'll take that. This can have one of those crazy days, guys. Okay, great. So we got the 3 drone stocks. Interview coming up. Rivian, as I said, I didn't like it as much. Intel, I think I may re-enter the Intel. We'll see. And then let me see down here. We got 927. Oh, market's about to open. Listen. I'm going to have to talk a little less right now. I got to take care of some things right at the market open. Oh, you sold at 655, Amar? All right, thanks. What kind of news could pump the stock balls? You know what? I'm going to have to take, I got sometime between 9:30 and 10, I'm going to have to play some videos and write down some notes. This RCAT video, this RCAT CEO interview was literally scheduled this morning. Like I asked Jeff about it over the last couple of days, and he just responded. He's like, I'm available this morning. I'm like, oh, well, shit. All right. So, I'm going to have to take 5 minutes to jot down some questions. I have to ask them at 10 a.m. All right. And let me see here. Now, you guys in our community, in our Discord, all right, you know which stock that I don't want to talk about yet. It's a new 4-pillar pick, okay? So do what you got to do here. It's a swing, not a trade, all right? So be cognizant of that. But do what you want to do here. If you want to do it at the open, we'll make sure everyone in our Discord can take advantage of that research first. And then later on, we're going to reveal it to the community. There is, a play I want to make there. I mentioned the particular options play that might work on that stock. So we'll see. It's 9:28 a.m. right now. So we'll see if that works. Hey, wow. Well, look, we already made a killing on ANF and VKTX. I guess I got to put UMAC up there. This looks like it's gone, to be honest with you. So UMAC is going to be a top pick of the day. Wow, look at ZENA. That's insane. All right. Let me throw that up number 1. VKTX. We'll make VKTX number 2. I'm going to make Intel number 3. Not in it right now, but we'll do that. We got to put RCAT in here. What's the top pick? You know what? It might be UMAC. It might be UMAC, Yosef. It might be UMAC. As of now, it's UMAC. It's 929. I put UMAC up there. VKTX second. 55 to 60 range at this point. On is 55 going to hold? No, well, down here about 53. I'd say 54 to 60 range on VKTX. UMAC number 1, RCAT number 3, just because we got to have it up there every day till it stops working. All right. Intel number 4. Let's leave it at that for the top picks. And let me see if I can go shopping. But there's another top pick, right? You know it. I just can't mention it yet, right? There's another top pick. So I'll let's see if I get filled, and then all right, hold on. Let's see. I got filled. Okay, so let me put this in the Discord on this other top pick. Where's my Discord? Oh my gosh, I'm missing Rhett today. So 750 and 30. All right, I just put that trade in the Discord that I just took. Look at UMAC. Wow, can't believe I got in at 550. Is this thing going to halt today? It might halt at some point today. All right. So I think I want to try to get back into Intel. And look at this OPTT. This is another style. Well, again, we'll talk about it with Jeff, but there might be something here. We had a 21-cent target. We gave the seal last week with a 21-cent target. We're right there. We gave the seal last week about 16 cents. So 16 to 21 cents. We hit that. All right. That was crazy. 16 to 21 cents. Beautiful. All right. And I guess that's why I didn't chase Rivian. And let's see if I'm going to get back into Intel at one point. We're going to check. We're going to see about that if I get back into Intel. RCAT, VKTX. UMAC with a pullback opportunity here. What price did I get in at? Oh, now I'm down on it. All right, I got it at 65. It's okay. I'm going to hold it. Let's see if we get that huge move to like $10, $15, which is possible. All right. So, okay. Intel, ANF, Rivian, OPTT. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I missed this morning. ZENA halted. Crazy. Don't play ZENA. IMRX, we're waiting for some news to hit on that. This is interesting. Kuehler, 10 a.m. Also at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. CEO is going to be on a Twitter space here. We played this last night successfully. I'm going to take a little bit of Kuehler here. Oops, maybe too slow. But Kuehler, with that interview coming up at 10:30 after a Navy contract win yesterday. All right, this could possibly go crazy. So we're going to have that on our radar. So we got UMAC and VKTX and Kuehler, RCAT, Intel. Okay. JL, is that you? Yosef? Can I put you on audio? Let's see. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Yosef, is that you?
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, thank God. I got someone to talk to. All right.
Okay, what's up?
Cool. RCAT down 10%.
Oh, wow.
That may be interesting.
Wow, Tesla with a nice...
Oh, look at OPTT. Wow. Oh, I didn't even look at Tesla this morning.
Wait, have you mentioned the pick yet or not?
Which pick? No, I haven't.
The quiet pick, I'm saying.
No, I want to give people a chance.
Okay,
It's fresh, brand new last night. Like late last night, I put it. No, this morning. I put it out at 7 a.m. this morning for a Discord. So let's give them a little chance to get in.
Yeah, I'm in it too.
Right. Got to get first tips to our Discord.
Yeah.
But this is a swing. It's not a day trade.
Yeah, I got in as a swing. Yeah.
Yeah, even if we give it to you, whenever we give it to you, it's still a lot of opportunity. Look, OPTT. Wow, crazy. I can't believe I was in this at 16 cents with a 21-cent target, but I just did not hold it. If someone in our community is in it, great. I am going to ask the CEO of RCAT about PDYN and OPTT. And maybe it's going to be too late. Maybe finally, I was waiting for research. I wanted to know more about OPTT. I don't trade just because technicals. I don't trade penny stocks. Just you got to feel comfortable with the fundamentals. And even though I had that target, unless it goes straight up, I'm out. That's just how I do it. I'm out within 3 seconds because it's a penny stock, and I don't know if they're going to do an offering, and I don't know if it's bullshit. But we'll see if we get some news, some information on the fundamentals on OPTT. But congrats to you guys who held. Did you get into this one, Yosef?
I did not.
16 to 21 in just a couple days hit our target.
Man,
Reviews
look at Amazon. I had a schnitz ton of calls on Amazon yesterday. I mean, I made money on it, but look at that. Beautiful candle.
Yeah. What was the thesis? Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
So we had Black Friday coming up, and we had the 20 DMA break. There it is. We talked about that yesterday, and now you have your 20 DMA break.
Look at that.
We have Black Friday coming up. This is one of my larger long-term positions. I don't have a trade position on it. So good job, Yosef, if you're making trade money on that Amazon.
VKTX.
UMAC pullback here might be interesting at $5.50. And RCAT's definitely going to be interesting. I think today I'm expecting to hear good stuff on our interview. Oh, what a nice escape on ANF this morning. All right. I'm going to look at RCAT coming back. I need to take some notes here. So guys, bear with me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna
I got some UMAC at 5:45.
Oh, nice.
Just because that was,
Nice.
I got all out yesterday, so we'll start a position.
Okay. I'm just taking notes what I want to ask as CEO of RCAT.
Wow, Amazon. Wow.
Okay, I got my notes. I'm all ready for the CEO interview.
Ben, you
Look at
think that
PDYN
the news
now.
on Tesla last night is like significant enough to keep this down for a bit, or is it
What was
like
the news on Tesla? They did more discounts?
no
Or California?
the California thing? Yeah, that they're going to be excluded
Oh,
from that EV
it
thing.
doesn't change. It does not change my thesis. Thesis is not based on EV sales. It's based on FSD and robotaxi regulatory, smoothing of that.
Okay.
All right, I picked up some RCAT here as a trade. I have, for those people who criticize, those looking from the outside, right? We hear this criticism sometimes about us that, oh, you guys are just fast money traders. You don't look at anything like, seriously. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. First of all, RCAT is my largest position in my retirement account. I've been holding it since July. Okay. Second of all, when we do trades, we also look at fundamentals. Our 4 pillars of story trading is catalyst, sentiment, fundamentals, and technical. So we're looking at everything. So what we're doing is mostly long based on the research we do. And then we trade around the core on catalyst, technicals, and we do fast money trading. Yes, around the core on a day-to-day basis. Why? Because I'm here full time. People who maybe have a job full time and they can't trade, I get it. You can take our advice. You can take our research from Discord, buy something long-term, and you're done. But when I'm sitting here at my desk staring at the screen all day, I'd be a fool not to take advantage of short-term opportunities. And that's why we trade full-time during the day on top of all of our long-term investments. And I usually do that in a dedicated trade account. So I have a dedicated trade account that's a fraction of a percentage of my overall portfolio. And that's where we do all this rapid-fire trading, right? But the biggest money, the wealth creation, is in the long-term account. It's in being in RCAT since $2. It's been being in $4 December calls on RCAT since a couple months ago. So that's the explanation for, oh, you guys look like you're just traders. No, we're actually very well-rounded investors who look at all of these 4 pillars, who understand the impact of fundamentals and sentiment, and also sees the opportunity for short-term day trades because we're here and we're able to do it because this is our full-time job. So that's the story on that for anyone who's confused about what we do at story trading. All right. VKTX pulling back. Did you keep VKTX calls at all overnight?
I did. Yeah.
You sold them at the open, I assume?
I did. I sold them. Yeah, they went through.
Nice. Very good. I'm looking at maybe reloading here.
But yeah, I think I want to get back in also.
Let me just look at how Lily is doing. We didn't even talk about I didn't have a chance to say the hair part B or something. I think it is increased coverage for GLP-1s for obesity. So that increases the TAM, increases the sale for Lilly and Novo, and thereby also increases the value of VKTX, even though they don't have a product approved yet. So that's the story with that. Let me just throw VKTX to the top. Look for maybe opportunities here on VKTX. Look, a PA, Jake, I got to kick you out of the studio, all right? Because we got this. In fact, now that you're here, Yosef, let me delete
let me
that.
take the link off, yeah.
take this link off here. Delete, because this link is going to be reserved for the CEO. So let me go.
Man,
kick from
Amazon is
studio.
crazy.
And Jake, kick from studio. Okay. Amazon. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, Amazon. You're in it now?
No.
All right. Look at it. The drone stocks are really, it looks like they're exploding here today, especially PD.
Okay, it's not doing
I don't know
right.
who Opti is. Who's Opti?
Okay, I'm back in VKTX.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'll follow you. What do you have, $51 calls?
No. What do I have? I think I sold my 60s. What did I buy now? I got the 55s.
Okay, I'm going 52s.
Yeah, it's a short week. It's true. Better to be cautious, I guess.
Oh, that's true. It is a short week.
Thursday's off. And Friday, yeah, Friday's back, right? Thursday's closed and Friday.
Yeah, Friday's open.
Yeah.
Although Friday, I think, is a half day. I think Friday's a half day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Amazon, look at this PDYN. I'm getting a little more bullish here on RCAT for today with PDYN just rocketing. Although the PDYN may be because of the other one that just exploded, ZENA. PDYN is probably the better quality one. So maybe money's rotating back into PDYN from ZENA. Wow, I can't believe I didn't keep OPTT. Crazy.
So anyway, the VKTX news is not really company specific. It's just like since they did, yeah, it's kind of okay. A knock-on effect of.
How's DJT doing? So Rum announced their Bitcoin strategy. I think DJT is going to be next. Waiting for that to happen. I think we got that bottom in VKTX for now.
Yeah, maybe in UMAC.
Look at this OPTT. Oh my gosh. Craziness.
See what happens here.
Wow, look at that Amazon. Unbelievable.
Man, it kind of happened to me last time. Remember it was one of the first Trump trades we did.
Yeah, it was. That was awesome that day.
And we sold it and we made good money, but then it just kept exploding like crazy.
Amar, I did not sell any OpFi. It looks like it's broken out. I have like a $10 target on it. And let me check let me tell you how much I'm up on them now. They're kind of fun. These OpFi, $7.50 calls. I'm up 600% on them. I have not sold any yet. That's kind of crazy. Maybe I should sell. I should sell a little bit. But yeah. Let me throw this up to the top. OpFi. There's a weekly, daily. Where are we? Okay, here we are. This is a chart we need to look at on OpFi. Actually, let's move to the monthly. Look, I just think from it, when you have these little like U's on these, this is similar to also UMAC, right? This is very similar to UMAC, and it finally broke out above it, right? OpFi, similar chart. It looks like it wants to break out above the 10, and fundamentally, Godfather says it's worth that. So I think I probably should sell some somewhere. I probably should. Thank you. Here we are. You deserve it for our hard work. Thank you. Appreciate that. I probably should sell at least my cost basis. Look at PDYN making me bullish about a reversal here in RCAT. Wow. That's crazy. So RCAT and UMAC Looking for strong afternoons out of both of these guys with our interview coming up, and with PDYN just pumping, and with OPTT, which are not in because the penny stock, which we don't know much about yet. Tesla looking good. Wow, no, that's a tough one, Yosef. I don't know what to tell you. Look at this candle.
What,
Look at all
Tesla?
this
Yeah, I need
congestion-
Tesla.
look at all this
Yeah.
congestion it has in here now.
It's a tough spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I just holding this long term at this point. I don't have any trades on it anymore. I'm just long term in Tesla right now. I did have a trade yesterday morning, which didn't work out.
Yeah, when you put it through yesterday as a trade, you gave a target of 380. What was it?
385. I thought we're gonna break the 365, 364,
360,
and make a move by weekend to 385. So that didn't work out.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Oh wait, it looks like we have an update on one of these Godfather stocks here. Let's see, HYDTF. Did they report? So Godfather is pounding the table on this. Let me see. Is the news out, guys? It's up 20% now. So I know a lot of people got into this. Let me just ask the community. Let me ask Godfather. Is HYDTF out? Let's ask him if that's out. So up 20%. Awesome. Godfather. If you follow the Godfather, head on over to his profile. You can get a discount for joining and getting his content in our Discord. So it's SMantel, SMANTEL. Follow him on X. And VKTX here, a little pop.
Yeah.
You selling on that pop?
That was a good ad. I'm not going to sell yet, but it might be a good idea to sell.
I can't really trade well when I'm doing this show, to be honest with you. This is just a special exception for you guys.
What do I have? 60, 50, 60.
I got it. I got it 250. Okay.
200.
HYDTF. Okay. What is, is QS down today?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm taking a little bit of a hit on QS. Looks like we can hit that 20 DMA now at $5 before we see it move back up.
Maybe I'll add that. I got out yesterday for a small loss when it didn't work. Maybe I'll get back in.
Yeah, it's very speculative though. It's not like our community pick. It's just like one of those option flow picks. It was on Twitter, and some vague thesis that you're going to win a contract from someone like some EV company is for the solid state batteries. So like I haven't done the research on it. I don't have strong conviction on it. Celsius continues to go down. Well, I'm not looking at Celsius or TMDX or Air until the third week of December. I think they're suffering from tax loss selling.
Yeah.
So let's see here. RCAT looking good heading into our interview. Kular is going crazy, someone says. Well, I'm in it. I got a little bit. So if someone in the community, I don't know if it's 10 or 10:30 a.m. If it overlaps with our RCAT at 10, I guess probably no one's going to watch it. But the CEO of KULR post Navy contract win yesterday morning is going to be on a Twitter Spaces with someone. And I think we're pumping into that report. So that's what's going on there. The value was not revealed, I don't think, of the Navy contract. So I just have a very small position, very small speculative penny stock. Don't know enough about it to have conviction or big position in it. But KULR, you saw me get into that at like 88 cents live on the show. We'll see. I think as we get close, it's hard for me to trade. I got to do the interview. I'm not going to be. Look at this Amazon. All right, so I'm going to leave you here looking. Okay, maybe I'll just play video, Yosef.
Okay, so I'll hop off then.
No, stay here.
Oh.
I need you till the CEO comes on. I just want to go get a cup of water and coffee or something and get ready for this interview.
Okay, sure.
Hang on. If you see anything, just call it out. I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Okay. No problem. Ooh, VKTX getting over 55 again, looking good. Man, root. I feel like I just want to average down on root like every day, or average up even. Root. Let me try and find a good option to swing. Let's have a look. $100 call. Wow, expensive. Okay, actually, the $90 calls December, not bad. They're kind of not much premium, maybe like a $2 or $3 premium. It's not terrible. Root is great, by the way. Ben has a target of 150, I think. UKTX, come on. Let's have a look. Tesla, not really. Breaking out. Looking better.
All right, what I miss?
Not much. VKTX over 55, looking better.
Oh, really? I probably sold then. I took some profits on Kuehler right here. Let's see, what price did I get?
I was also, I was looking at Root, man. It looks so good every day.
Oh, the Root is like one of my largest positions, guys. This is one of the cheapest stocks on the market right now, guys.
I was thinking to get try and find a nice in the money call that I could just swing with not much premium. I'm looking at the $90 calls.
Do you remember this dip? I don't know if you were in with me. I got $100 call options on this dip here. I think you were in with me.
Yeah.
And I made 60%. I was in at like $3-4 and I sold them like $6-7. They're like $30 now.
It's crazy, man.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Look at Lilly continuing to pump here this morning. Oh no, it's not continuing to pump. It's gapped up is what it did. Lilly had a big gap up, now it's heading down. So let's see. Kuehler, I was out at 94 cents. Did we find out about HYDTF? Just got in. No, don't see HYDTF ER as yet. The thesis getting out there on X is what's driving the stock. All right, so beautiful call out many days ago at like 50 cents, I think, is when Godfather was pounding the table for us. We're now at 77 cents. Up fight looking good. All right. All right, things are kind of quiet. This is good. This is good. We can focus on RCAT. Hold on, let me see. All right, you know what? UMAC dead in the water. All right, it's 9:55 a.m. I'll just say this. We'll share the thesis later, okay, or on the Discord. If you want to see the thesis, Kodak is a new 4-pillar pick. All right, we put it in our room early this morning at 7 a.m. Let's just say I know the story pretty well for years now, and I've been waiting for a catalyst, and we got the catalyst I'm waiting for, and details in our Discord. We'll see there. Actually, is this? I don't know if that's still active. If that works, I guess it is. Oh, I don't know if that works. If it does, you're lucky. Storytrading.com/Discord, code RCAT, $5 for the first month. I'm not sure if that. So, but here's the deal, and I said this the other day when we put that we want all the RCAT researchers to be in our community. All the people who do due diligence on RCAT, know the company and the drone sector really well, and who will contribute to our community. That's why we put that up there. So if you take advantage of this $5 for the first month, all right, you know, if you're not participating, we're going to kick you out, man. That's the deal. All right. So if you want to be an active participant, tell us about what you know about RCAT and the drone industry, then you can take advantage of that deal. Just $5 for the first month. Okay. If it still works. I don't know. You may have missed it. That may be an old code that's not working anymore. All right. So, and if it's not, if that code doesn't work, we do have a code for $10 for the first month where we're not going to be as tough on you on. That's profits, code profits. We'll give you $10 for the first month. And it's a good idea for you to get in before the end of the year, because we are planning, everyone who gets in before the end of the year will be grandfathered in to a renewal rate, which is $59 a month. After that, any new people who join in January, we're talking about $99 a month. All right. So I don't know who Opti is in the background. Is that Jeff Thompson? Okay. If whoever's in the studio, Opti, if you're not Jeff Thompson, please see yourself out. Okay. And if you are Jeff Thompson, put your camera on and wave to me so I know it's you. Okay. All right. Yeah. Look at. So let's see.
Let me see what to do here.
I can't really trade much today because of this show and this interview I got to do, but you know what? Maybe I should take some profits on ACHR. Up big on it.
Yeah, weren't you thinking that could go down?
Yep, that was one of the ones I was thinking. Maybe it's time to short. Like these are the names I had in mind to short this morning. But look, if you did it to open, it's tough. They all gapped down, so they were tough shorts anyway.
Look at that, yeah.
Yeah, they were tough.
November 20.
Oh, glad I bailed on Intel and didn't get back in. Wow, and glad I took that profit on ANF this morning.
ANF. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do any earning bet on it.
Oh, made some good calls this morning, except the UMAC not working out yet. All right, so let me kick this guy out. All right, perfect.
Wait, so you spoke about it. Okay, good.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna start the interview soon. Jeff Thompson's in the studio. Yosef, I'll see you in a bit. You can stay in the studio if you'd like.
Okay, I'll mute myself. Yeah.
All right. And let me. RCAT CEO. Hold on. Let's fix up all our banners. RCAT CEO. What I'll do is this. I'm gonna get this banner. Scroll it on the bottom, and RCAT CEO interview. Jeff Thompson. Now, okay. And Jeff, give me a couple seconds. We're gonna reset the show, play some intro music, and we'll be off to the races. Okay, Jeff Thompson, RCAT CEO, Jeff Thompson interview now. Yosef, I just put you in the backstage. If you want to stick around, maybe at the end of the show, we'll jump back on. All right, guys. Are you ready? Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. You are the man of the hour, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, you know, everyone loves you when your stock's going up. Everyone hates you when it's going down.
Well, it's been great. Look, our community, we've been all over the story since July, since the stock was about $2, and we've been riding everything with you. This is the first time I have a chance to talk with you, but there have been people in our community who have interviewed you and talked to you in the past. Alpha Wolf Trading, we've seen some of his interviews as well. So we're caught up on the story, and you know, we're here to tell the story to everyone else who hasn't heard about it yet. There's over 3,000 people listening live right now. What a ride this has been. Unbelievable move. Again here, stock basically doubled since the SRR contract with the U.S. Army. So I have a bunch of really fun questions for you today. But so let's just start with the SRR contract. For those who are not familiar, I think I estimated that to be worth around 400 million or a little under 400 million over 5 years. Just give everyone an overview of what that means for your company.
Yeah, sure. So it's well, the way we have to put it with the U.S. Army is there's 5,880 systems. I want to be very accurate with this. Each system contains 2 Black Widows and 1 controller, which is about $45,000 for that system. If they field all 5,880 systems, that would be at least 260 million. And as we said on the town hall the other day, usually there's about anywhere from 30 to 50% to 70% of extras for repairs, spares, and training, which would probably bring the contract, if they field all 5,880, up to 400 million.
Okay, that's great. And that's obviously a big number compared to even your market cap now, even after the move. You're talking about a 676 market cap and 400 million over 5 years. Still pretty significant. But what can you tell us about this? I don't think I've heard you talk much about what this means for profitability. At like what level of revenue does your company turn profitable? And anything you can tell us about, you know, forward looking a year or 2 years from now, you know, at what point can we kind of, because right now people are looking at this and being like, okay, that's huge revenue compared to the market cap. Stock looks cheap, but at the end of the day, if you want to sustain these levels, you know this, Jeff, right? At the end of the day, you got to turn that into bottom line profit, and then people will be putting a multiple on that profit, right? So how does this help you? How do we look at what this does for your profitability 1-2 years out from now?
So if you look at manufacturing, manufacturing is really hard, and you know, that's one thing that I truly believe. But to take a prototype and then get it into mass production, having high yields, very reliable drone is hard, but we are really getting good at it. So I'll give you an example from the past that we did with the Teal 2, and then I'll apply it to where we're heading with the Black Widow. It's all about your gross margins. So when we built the factory almost 2 years ago, we had an RQ. We used to have a weird year end. It's now switching to calendar January 1, but we had a Q that ended in May, almost a year and a half ago or so, that we had negative 10% gross margins. And why would I even talk about that on this show? Is because we built the factory, we had fully loaded cost basis, and we weren't building the drones yet. So the next quarter we swung 20%. We went to plus 10% gross margins. And then the next quarter we went to 30% gross margins. So we went we had a 40% margin swing just by finally getting to build the same drone over and over. And as your cost of your factory's here and your amount of drones is here and then up and up, your margins go up with that. So all that said, we are going to be now, and we built the TL2 for a while. We shut the factory down to build the prototypes for this Army contract. And so then we had to return it back on. So your margin is going to be lumpy when you're not just making the same thing or same widget on any factory production line. So now we know we're going to be making this drone for at least 3 to 5 years, the same airframe, the same aircraft. So we'll be punching these out at high volumes. And our cost structures hasn't changed much, even though we spent the last 2 quarters of this year preparing for 2025 because we had a good idea that we were probably going to win this contract. So we're ready in January to really start ramping. We believe in our forecasting. Now, this is just in the Black Widow. We have 3 products now. We used to only have 1. The Black Widow, we think once we get through 3 quarters of production, we can get it close to 50% gross margins, which would put us at the end of next year. And at that point, we're basically break even or cash flow break even.
And sorry, end of next year?
Yeah, like once we get through the 3rd quarter of producing the same drone, that's when the margins you'll see the margins increase every quarter, but we expect them to get into that high 40s, low 50s at the end of next year.
Yeah, that sounds good. And look, I can't wait to ask you about the future and what additional things may come. I have that. We'll get to it in a second. But while we're on this topic of profitability, I do want to bring up this question about, a raise that, some money you may need to raise. And I've seen some commentary put out there that, we don't need to do it. We don't want to do it. Look, my point of view, for whatever it's worth, is it's okay to do a raise. I mean, especially because, the raises are bad, especially for small companies when they do toxic warrants, that cause like these like resetting of the warrants, and it causes people to short the stock in the open market. The people participate, like that kind of stuff. Those toxic, that's bad, right? So you want to avoid warrants like that. But the other thing is you just had an inflection contract with the U.S. Army, so people are going to buy that. When you raise money and get it out of the way, people are going to buy that. So I don't know. For whatever it's worth, I don't think you need to worry about it.
No, let me give you some detail on this, because when I see, on some of these platforms, all the haters, and I got quite a few of them, they don't look at the cap table. I'm the largest shareholder, so I'm not going to do some crazy raise just to dilute. That's insanity. It means you have done no due diligence. But whenever we do something, we're trying to raise the right amount of money at the right time for the right things, not to just raise money. And a lot of people will come back at me and say, when you can raise money, you take as much as you can. But our customer is the Department of Defense. It's one of the only budgets that has to be there by law every year. We're not going to have a recession. We're pretty much recession proof as a company. So let's back into a raise. So as we mentioned on the town hall, we have a facility for 15. And I've never done warrants, but we did do warrants on the debt, but they're not cashless. And warrants are hell and toxic, and they'll just short your stock if they have them for free. But if they have to write a check, then they're an investor. And we put it way above market. And we still have $6 million left in that facility. We might even close on that right now, just to not to worry about money right now until we get a bunch of data from these contracts. So we could close on that before Thanksgiving. And it also raises us a bunch of money, about $5 million at 650. I think we did the debt when we were like at $2, as you were just mentioning. So it raises about $5 million there. We can take in $6 million if we close this week. And then we get into, we can go well into 1st quarter without having to worry. And by then we hope to have I know we're going to dig in deep on the SRR contract for the Army, but we'll have a lot of data on how much money we're getting up front from the Army. And also, I don't know if you've been following, but defense tech for startups is getting hot again. And the Pentagon just announced $1 billion loan program. You can borrow from 10 to 150 million. It's coming from the what is it? The Office of Strategic Capital, and it's basically for companies that lots of times when you're waiting on contracts and waiting to produce something, you go through the valley of death, and that's killed a lot of companies dealing with the government. So they're trying to really solve that. Not only that, they're also trying to solve that with Replicator. So very long answer to, we're not against raising money. If the stock's at 30 after some announcements or something like that, and we want to raise 20 million bucks, it's zero dilution basically, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we're not against it, but we got a lot of good stuff going on. So there'll be a better time for our shareholders, which I'm always going to protect. As your largest shareholder, I'm going to protect you investors in this company.
Is that your way of telling me you still think $9 is really cheap and you think the stock's worth closer to 30 or will be closer to 30 sometime next year?
I don't make stock predictions on price, but I will say our direct peers, like Anduril trades at 28 times revenue. Shield AI, I think 24. Skydio, who we went head to head. You can't say they're not a comp. We went head to head in this contest to win this contract. Trades at 22 times revenue. With what we are possibly going to do for next year, let's just say it's 100 million, and that's not our official guidance yet. We haven't put it out yet. We did put 55 out as official guidance about a month ago, but that was before SRR. But even if say it's 100 million for 2025, we're cheap, is what I'll say.
Okay, got it. Let's talk about what now the imminent future maybe holds, right? You got this U.S. Army contract, and we understand that makes it easier for you to win other large contracts. Like on timing, when can we expect to hear either yes or no on maybe the NATO ones or any other ones that are in consideration?
Yeah, so NATO, we had literally some very specific contracts that they told us point blank at, actually, I don't know if you follow the company really close, but we were at AUSA, which is the Army's big conference every year in DC, and that's when we launched the Black Widow. Actually, a couple of the countries that we've been talking about with these NATO contracts were at our booth for quite some time, spent some time with them, and they were very point blank that we're just waiting to find out if you're winning SRR. We don't know what that means, but the other thing that it means is these European countries, they actually go on vacation, and now we're closing in on. I mean, they're gone the whole month of August, even though they're in a war, close to the war zone. I don't know when we're going to hear. I don't think it's going to be that long, but we're hoping it's soon. But I was so wrong with the announcement of SRR being in September, even though they internally did their selection in September. Yeah. They didn't notify us until later. So I'm not going to make dates on the NATO contract. We got plenty of drones to build before that. And plenty of other stuff on the US side that is starting to come in now. So
fair enough. Although 2 months off is not that bad. I've been invested in companies where we're waiting years, like any month, any day. We're going to get that big deal any day. No, it ended up being a long time. So 2 months, pretty accurate. So you can't put a timeline on when we can hear either yes or no, but is it possible it could be imminent? Like, is that out of the question that something could happen today or tomorrow? Or
yeah. So let me just give you guys some of the how it will happen, because this is how it happens with every single large entity that we deal with in defense and kind of on the DHS side. I'll just keep using examples because I'm not making predictions. We did a bake-off with 2 other companies for the Customs and Border Patrol. They bought 50 drones from each one of us. We won the bake-off, and then they bought hundreds of drones 6 months later. You'll see that same pattern with almost every large industry or any branch of the government. If you see a foreign country order 100 or 200 drones, they're typically buying them. We go over, we start doing the training for those people, get them up to speed on that drone, and then you get the real program of record after you've gone through that process, and they give you the much larger order. So you always get a small buy, a couple hundred or 100 or 300, and then you got to go do some work. You get over there, you do some training. We just had one of our partners doing this in Israel, and then they get the large order, and or then you get the large order. So specifically, if they're sole source, then at that point it's just you got to do the process, and hopefully you get the big one.
Okay, great. So aside from these large additional contracts that may come, I think I heard you tease something of some other developments, some other news that's going to blow our minds. You know, would you advise us not to speculate that it, you know, could be something with Palantir? That would be too crazy for you, right?
They're a great company, and I would just point to you. They just recently did a partnership with Flyby Robotics, a small company out of Santa Monica. That means nothing. I think that they have some of the best products out there, but let me just say what the Black Widow is going to do, regardless of Palantir. We are building the most useful aircraft I think the Army's ever had that's going to be fitting in your rucksack. It'll sit in your rucksack and you'll be able to pull it out. It'll have better cameras than stuff that costs 10x. It'll have artificial intelligence, some of the best artificial intelligence on the planet. It'll have the best visual navigation. It's EW resistance, and we've passed EW resistance in the Ukraine. You won't need GPSs. It can go into dark mode, which means no matter what, you know, anti-drone technology you throw at it, if it can see you, it can kill you.
Okay, so are we still looking at some sort of announcement that's going to blow our mind? Like, what's the timeline on that? I think that's the language you use.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, my lawyers hate when I do these things. I'll just say, yeah, the Black Widow is going to be an unbelievable platform. It is going to be, it's blowing my mind already, but there's a lot of stuff we can do to that drone before we deliver it to the U.S. Army, and everybody's going to want it.
Okay. All right. So we'll stay tuned for some exciting news on that. Man,
You tried hard on that one. That was tough.
Well, there's some speculation out there that, oh, what if it's Palantir? So, you know, it is out there. Okay. So, man, I got quickly I can do it. Let me move to, we'll come back. I know there's questions from the audience. We'll come back to the questions if there's time. But you set off a whole ecosystem of stocks in the market that are just exploding. I don't know if you're aware of this, Jeff. So you guys are the leader, right? Yeah. Everyone's looking at the primary news of this win and RCAT going up, like doubling in a week or whatever it is. So now there's a whole bunch of other drone stocks that are just exploding, and some of them seem to have relationships with you. And I'm wondering if you could just tell us more about the nature of the relationship. So the three that I've seen press releases on that RCAT, you know, is Unusual Machines, UMAC, and I believe there was a relationship before it spun off or something. Yeah. Then there was the other day, PDYN, PDYN. And then there's something from like the summer with OPTT, Ocean Power Tech. Yep. If we could just tell us the nature of these relationships, if you don't mind starting with UMAC, Unusual Machines.
Yeah, so I got to be careful with UMAC. I'm actually on the board.
Oh,
so, okay. But again, let's talk about the market in general. When we spun off UMAC, they make the FPV goggles. I think mine are right here. Going to the in-laws for Thanksgiving, I want to get some stick time so I don't have to hang out the whole time with them. But they make Fat Shark goggles. They make FPV drones, and the initial idea to spin off UMAC was because we go through audits with the U.S. government. We don't just get audited by our audit firm, our PCOB audits. The U.S. Army comes in and audits our facilities, and we didn't want to have any connection with anything made in China. And a lot of UMAC stuff is still made in China, but they've actually, myself and Drew and Alan, the COO, really smart team over there. 14 months ago, we started building a Blue UAS flight controller, and they got through the Blue UAS certification really quick with their Brave 7 flight controller. So FPV has become so critical because of the Ukraine war. I think the reason UMAC's doing really well and is going to continue to do well is they're the experts in the world on FPV. They've been doing it. I connected with Rotoraya and Fat Shark in 2015. I was at a crazy race in Dubai, and I tried to buy the Fat Shark back then, and tried to buy it for years, and they kept saying no. But they are the experts in FPV in the globe. Fat Shark basically invented first-person view, and I don't know if your whole audience knows what FPV is, but it's basically small drones in Ukraine that they are putting kinetics on explosives. They use the goggles, they find targets, and they use $1,000 drone, and they can take out a $4 million tank. FPV drones are the most used munition in the Ukraine right now. They bring up the lethality of a soldier by multiples. Never seen this before in infantry. So that's going to continue. And now that the U.S. is looking at FPV, the U.S. is a much larger army than the Ukraine. And I just think UMAC is very well positioned to be the leader in FPV, because they've been the leader in FPV since 2015. So
so I thought, is UMAC though a parts supplier to the drones you build?
yeah, they're so we have a product called Fang, and they're going to be one of the parts suppliers for Fang. And as we now that we're getting contracts from the Army and other entities, I think we'll do well in the FPV space ourselves with our Fang product, because we have 3 drones that fly off the same controller now. We have the Edge 130, which is switching to, it'll be called the Triton once we put the new radio in it, and that'll have EW capability. The Black Widow works on our new controller called the Web, the Warfighter Electronic Bridge, and our FPV drones are also going to use that same bridge. So not only will we be able to use the same controller for these drones, we'll also be able to fly multiple vehicles with one pilot.
Okay, so this contract you have with the U.S. Army, that's not with the Fang drone. So this is not something, you don't need UMAC's help to build all these drones?
No, we don't need UMAC for the U.S. Army contract. But if you look at the numbers, so I mean, even with our contract, the requirements was written around 2015 after ISIS used some FPV drones and was using them against our soldiers. So they built the SRR requirements based back then. So the 5880 systems, that's an antiquated number. They're going through 10,000 drones, if not more. One of our board members just got back from the Ukraine. It's much higher than 10,000, but until someone puts that in a article, we'll just say it's 10,000, which has been out there a million times. 10,000 drones a month, and a lot of those drones are like ours. They usually use the Mavic 3. That's what we're going to replace over there if we get a contract there. So the amount of drones that the U.S. would need to manufacture is probably in the millions. So that's what Russia is making 300,000 a month FPV drones. So we've got our team at UMAC that's been doing this since 2015 and knows the space inside and out. Drew's one of the best pilots in the world. That's the COO. And they're gonna eventually. I mean, they're gonna have to get I think they're gonna get a significant contract sooner or later, if not through us with our selling the Fang, through other mechanisms. But there's going to be a few of these companies that make FPV. There's already a few right now. I think there'll be a couple of leaders. There'll be a number 1 and a number 2, maybe a number 3 with millions needed. And then there'll be 10 or 15 other guys that fill in what those guys can't make. But I expect that UMAC will be a leader in the FPV space by far.
Got it. Makes sense. All right. Then we got PDYN. You put the PR out about some sort of, anytime that you put these 2 buzzwords together, you made drone a buzzword. We already had AI. So with AI and drones with PDYN, PDYN, this stock just exploded from like $2 to $6. So what did they do for you exactly? Are they related to the SSR contract? Do you need to buy technology from them to fulfill this Army deal?
Yeah. So if you look at, let me talk the way the platform works, and then I'll talk directly about PDYN. So we're kind of like an iPhone, right? We already have some capabilities with Athena AI out in Australia on object detection, battlefield assessment. We also, if you look at any movie where they're using thermal cameras in large helicopters or airplanes and they're destroying the enemy, you'll see FLIR in the corner. With their thermal capabilities. They've been collecting objects and data for 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan. So they have a huge database of objects to detect which we already have that working on our system. And PDYN, which is another option. So if and Paladin's done a lot of heavy integration into the Black Widow. So it's going to be very tight integration with Paladin's artificial intelligence. So basically what you're looking for with an ISR drone, but we also have kinetic capability, is to assess the battlefield, determine what's out there. Is that a tank? Is that a people carrier? Is that a mortar? Is that a good guy, bad guy? Gather that data within seconds or minutes and give your commander to be able to crush that battlefield with quick decisions that could sometimes take a day or two with a human being. So you combine that data with aerial navigation and dark mode with a kinetic on that drone. You've got one of the most lethal objects, and it costs $45,000 for a system instead of tens of millions of dollars like a Reaper, which, Reapers are useless now. They get shot down in about 20 seconds.
So this Pallet, I just want to understand if you're using their technology for this U.S. Army SSR contract, or is this for your other drones?
This is nothing specific to the SRR contract.
Okay.
But as you go into, typically you win a large contract like this, then you start producing. You got to sign the contract. Like we've been doing this for 4 years. We get down select September. They give us a prototype contract, and we sign it at the end of December, early January, and we start working on that for the year and start getting paid early in Q1. This time, though, it's a final production contract for thousands of drones, and then they typically add some additional features that weren't in the original requirements. And we've been preparing and we believe that AI is going to be a must-have on the SRR drone. They haven't said it yet. We haven't released that out there yet, but there's no way I'm not going to give a warfighter a drone without AI, whether they ask for it or not.
Okay, got it. All right, I get it. Makes sense. All right, that's that. Then you have another partnership, or I don't know how you want to characterize it, with Ocean Power Tech. That was in the summer, I think. Tell us more about that relationship. Yeah, so a lot of focus is on Indo-PACOM, obviously, the Taiwan, war seems like it's the first planned war we've ever had. I say that quite a bit. But the whole goal, and I think the Replicator initiative is purely based on the Taiwan, situation. They really want to make the Taiwan Strait a drone hellscape. We actually have another partnership with Sentient Robotics, which is they make swarms. They use our drones. It's exclusive to us. They have a 12-pack drone swarm and a 80-pack drone swarm. One's on a trailer that you can put on the front of a ship. The other one's on the back of an M-Razor. Actually, that's how I met you, when I was responding to Elon Musk's comment about F-35s and he had the drone swarm up in the air. I made a comment that I was going to turn a Cybertruck into a swarm vehicle, which it was a joke, but now we're actually going to do it. We're going to put a sentient hive on the back of a Cybertruck with Chad Capper. But for us, the goal is to use something like an OPTT, an ocean power unit. They have robots that can go out in the ocean for many, many miles. We can mount a 12, and if they use a bigger one, I don't know if the 80 fits on there, but the 80 can fit on some other ships. But we can send a drone swarm onto their vehicle. We can throw a Starlink Mini on there. We can pilot it from Orlando and put these deadly drones out there in a swarm, and we could overwhelm. So you got a helicopter coming at you that's worth tens of millions of dollars. Send 10, 12 drones up, just throw them at it, take it down on something that's low flying, where you have total capability of taking items like that. So their partnership's kind of crucial that they have robots. We have land robots that we're working with right now with some other companies that we can go deep into country with remote piloting. But they're one of the first partners we have that can do it in the ocean. And it's, everything in Indo-PACOM and Replicator is based on the ocean. Very interesting. I guess folks like what you're saying. They're sending ocean power stock up as you're talking. All right. Very interesting. Okay, so you got a lot going on. Really fascinating stuff. Do you have time for a couple audience questions?
Sure. It's I'm really I was starting to I get all my news from X now. I used to be a traditional guy. I got rid of my IR firm in April, and look at the chart since April.
You have no IR firm now? You're the IR, right?
Zero. I'd
Nice.
rather do this and talk to actual investors than go out there and just have non-deal roadshows with hedge funds. Let's make it a
Cool.
level playing field.
Nice. Let's do it. Jimmy Chang says, can you ask Jeff how much Replicator is worth and the timeline for the announcement? I believe he mentioned maybe within a month from the time SRR is announced, since that is what happened for MRR. I don't know what MRR and LRR, but yeah.
Yeah, great question. That was just an observation by me that the first tranche went to the people that won LRR. Then they did the second tranche for counter UAVs. Then they did the MRR, like PDW and Anduril. We know both those companies very well. Then they got the third tranche for Replicator. That was just announced. That's just my observation. I'm not guaranteeing that we're getting Replicator. I do believe that the Black Widow and a Swarm is perfect for a Taiwan hellscape, a Taiwan straight hellscape. I also believe the Edge 130 is one of the most unique drones out there. It fits so many different scenarios. It was built to be over the ocean. The founder, Trent, brilliant guy, built it to actually, look at reefs, and most of the quadcopters can't get out to a reef, do a study of a reef, and have enough time to get back. So he said, I'm just going to make my own instead of just buying one. And he built quite a unique vehicle. It's a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, can also fit in your rucksack. It's only, I think, 1,200 grams, 2.8 pounds, flies for over an hour, and without a camera, it can fly for 2 hours. If you put some kinetics on that thing, you've got the cheapest loitering munition in the world. And it was originally designed to take off and land in water and recharge. It doesn't do that yet, but that's a feature that we think, because it was designed to do that, we think we can get there eventually. So we just have such an incredible portfolio for the Replicator initiative, but we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, great. Now, here's a question. I have no idea what it's talking about. Can Jeff touch on the Futaba relationship? The OCS funding Jeff mentions opens applications January 2nd. Does he expect distribution of funds in January? Seems unlikely.
No, if you fill out anything in January with the government, we're not going to depend on that whatsoever. So like I mentioned earlier, on some of the housekeeping here, we're probably going to take down the rest of the debt. That gives us plenty of runway while we build our forecast and our cash allocation for all of 2025. So we'll be fine. And if we happen to get that OCS funding, it's just a bonus.
All right. Then we got someone who loves their baseball cap there. Where can we buy that I Fly You Die ball cap?
Coming soon. I'm super transparent, so I'm just gonna front run this and piss some people off. Chad, if you don't know Chad Capper, he's the founder of Rotor Riot. He was also the founder of Flight Test, which is radio controlled stuff. So he's OG in FPV. He's one of the grandfathers of the industry. He's really smart. He's a great pilot, really super well known in the industry. And we started communicating the other day after he offered his Cybertruck for me to put the Swarm on the back of it, which I'm going to buy the Swarm and put it on there. And then I had another thing to talk about, which he brought up, is people want our merch. So to give you some background on this hat, when I was in Ukraine, exactly almost the same week as this right now, last year, I got to do a ride along with a bunch of FPV pilots with some ISR guys. I wasn't on the front line. I'm not saying that I was out there in super danger, but we weren't that far from it. But I got to see these guys train. It was really cool. And we went out into the mud and practiced killing some fake or burnt out tanks. And they basically use something like a Black Widow, but it's a Mavic 3, which we're trying to replace, and a bunch of FPV drones. And one of the instructors had a patch that said "I Fly, You Die" on his arm. And I asked if I could take a picture of it. And I guess once you destroy your first vehicle or get your first kill, you get the patch. I couldn't quite get it because of his English, and I don't speak Ukrainian, but he let me take a picture. I couldn't take a picture of his face. And so when I came back, I was like, we're working on making the Black Widow lethal now, which it is. And so as I mentioned recently, this duck is our Duckworks. Like, you remember Skunk Works for Lockheed Martin? This is Duckworks. And we made the hat with the iFly UDI logo. So that's a long story how the hat evolved, but we're looking to do a bunch of merch that Chad's going to put on a website for us. And we're going to, after we replace all our costs, we're going to donate every bit of the profit to vets, or we're going to pick out a charity and donate everything to the charity.
Awesome. Sounds great. Interesting story. Let me take one last audience question, and then I have one for you to close it out. So from Ryan Burris, from Tech Partnerships and Future Business, what excites you the most for 2025?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. So I think the most compelling thing for me, I'm actually an electrical engineer by school. Used to write code, couldn't write a single line of code anymore. Thank God we have AI. But when I see, and I got to give some of this credit to the PMUAS office. They have really, the people that are in control of LRR, MRR, SRR, and the little SBS FLIR little helicopter that fits in your palm. There's been some really good push from some people in that department and some of the people from Futures Command to make all of us communicate on the same platform, LRR, MRR, SRR, the Hornet, FPV, on single controllers, and do multi-vehicle flights, small swarms from one controller, one operator. So you got one operator, or you could have some remote piloting at the battalion level that can fly. Could be flying a Black Widow, could be flying a PDW C-150 or Ghost Anduril, the new stuff from Aero Environment. So seeing all of that, seeing a small swarm controlled by one directed situation that can complete a mission, that's some scary tech for the enemy. I would not want to be on the other side of that.
All right. So that's what you're most excited about.
I'm not going to go down the road you want me to go down. That'll take care of itself.
Got it. All right. I got one question for you. With Trump administration coming in, and you got this new DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Do you have, has there been any discussion about what that may look like for government contractors like yourself if they want to come in and be like, hey, we got to cut some costs or be more efficient? Do you expect any of that to impact you guys at all? And how would you, if they did come in? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how are you planning for that?
So it's going to be to our benefit by far. So right now you got Reaper drones that are basically useless. They cost tens of millions of dollars. Right now, we probably have some of the same capabilities as they have with that, other than a massive Hellfire missile. But actually, Elon pointed it out in that tweet he did the other day. It's got over 80 million views. We're building manned vehicles. When he posted that graphic of that large, gigantic swarm of thousands of drones that could overwhelm almost anything that they want to overwhelm. And those things cost nothing. And our drones cost nothing compared to all this really expensive, exquisite stuff that's been in the industrial complex. We spent most of our own money to build the Black Widow for the U.S. government, and we're not cost plus. So we're building something that's super efficient, least expensive, and has the most capabilities. So if there's anything that DOGE is going to do for companies like ours, and I'll put Anduril and Shield AI and PDW in there. We're the new guard. The old guard is making stuff that's kind of useless and too expensive and takes 10 years to get to market, and by then it's antiquated. So I think we're going to do great. I mean, I didn't want to do a community note, But that graphic, the movie that Elon put up is actually not a swarm. They're just programmed, and they don't know about all the other drones. They just know about themselves. They go up and do a pattern, and then they come back down and land. And that pattern, when you got all of them put together, it makes a nice graphic. But they don't know about the drone next to them or the drone over there. Our drones communicate like, velociraptors coming after something.
Okay. All right. So the existing contract, though, with the SRR, is there any possibility that, a new administration could come in and be like, hey, we're paying you too much, we got to cut it? Or do you think it'll only impact future contracts?
The good thing about drones, and I'm not talking about the drones that have been around forever that we see on these old movies. When we go to the Hill, the one thing that's super bipartisan is small drones. Everyone's seen what happened in the Ukraine. Drone War 1, which is what we call Ukraine, has changed how drones are going to be used. And they're not going to be large, exquisite drones. They're going to be drones like us. So I can't predict what any defense organization is going to do. But if you look at what everyone's doing now with small drones, it's going to be hundreds of thousands of drones. FPV is going to be in the millions. So I think there's already been some programs that got cut from these old exquisite stuff and put into Replicator, which is coming after drones like us. So I think if anything, we're in a great position for Doge, not in a bad position.
All right. Sounds good, Jeff. Thank you so much. Looking forward to get an update from you in the future. It was really awesome speaking with you.
Great. Thanks. It was fun.
Thank you. All right. Take care, Jeff. Thank you. All right. And for everyone else, if you want to join our community, head on over to Discord, storytrading.com/Discord. We got a discount code RCAT. RCAT's a discount code right now, just $5 for the first month. Real big steal for all of you RCAT diehards. And look at this, continue to look at these stocks related to RCAT just taken off today. PDYN up 40% and halted right after this talk we had with the CEO of RCAT. Ocean Power OPTT hanging in there, up 30% today. What a wild ride on all these RCAT related stocks. RCAT steady at $9.70. All right. So with that, we'll see everyone over at our Discord, storytrading.com/Discord. Again, code is RCAT, just $5 for the first month. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. That was all.